Welcome to Make Your Mark podcast, where guests share their experiences, insights, and tactics to help you accelerate your business. So building, scaling, and monetizing your business is made easier. And I will be your host, Kay Suthar. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Make Your Mark podcast. And oh my goodness, I have a juicy guest for you today, right? And guess what? She's another Brit. Yes, we have another Brit here. I know there's been so many people from the US, but I finally found someone that's going to be awesome in the UK. And she's going to be talking about something really amazing, right? About how to get leads, right? And there's a specific way that she does it. And I'm not going to give too much away right now, because she is going to be coming on and talking about it, and she is absolutely awesome at what she does. Her name is Aggie. Oh my goodness, Aggie, I am so excited to have you here today.
Hi, Kay. What an intro. Thank you so much. I love that energy.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. So we have spoken several times off camera, right? And and so many people have also mentioned certain things, and I've seen certain posts that you've been putting out, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm going to need to work with you. It's an absolute must, right? Because the results that you're producing for yourself and your clients, right? This is the thing. You don't just do it for your clients, you do it for yourself too. You know exactly what works and what doesn't work. And so I knew I had to have you on this podcast. It was a must, right? And so before we get into the nitty-gritty, Aggie, I would love for you to share a little bit about your journey, okay? Because I know, most of us know, that business comes within time, and it doesn't just happen one morning when you wake up. It's not there. It's not on your lap. You're not getting loads of dough in your bank just like that. If we did, we would all be doing it, right? So please share what that journey looked like for some of our audience here today.
Thanks, Kay. So my name's Aggie Meroni, and I run a media agency, so an ad agency, and we specialise in social media advertising, so Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest. I'm also running Google Ads now as well. And I have had a very squiggly journey. I'm sure lots of people can relate to this. Business is never linear. You know, when you first start a business, you think, oh, I'm going to go from A to Z, Z for the Americans, Z for the English audience. And it's all just going to be like a straight diagonal line, and, you know, we're all going to retire to the Bahamas. That has not been the case with me. So when I finished uni, went gallivanting, traveling, whatever. And then when I came back, I was like, right, I have no money. So I ended up in corporate. So I ended up going for a secretarial job in finance. They ended up putting me in the sales team, which I was like, I do not want to be there. It's not me at all. I just had this Wolf on Wall Street impression of what a sales role in finance would be. And I was like, yuck, I just don't, that's not my vibe at all. They're like, it's not like that at all. It was quite a well-known English company. And they're like, we have the biggest clients already. You just need to keep cross-selling to them. So it's actually really good training ground for relationship management. Mm-hmm. That company was actually acquired within 2 weeks of me joining. So then I ended up working for a huge US financial company for the next 6 years. I ended up working in finance for 10 years, basically, in various sales roles. And it really wasn't me. If I'm honest, it was great for money. It made me financially secure for a while, but I just wasn't happy at all. And I was like, oh, I just don't know what else I can do, because I'm not one of these people that has a passion, you know. Or at that point, I didn't realise I had a passion. And I was like, I'm not someone that's always wanted to be a doctor or a vet or, you know, some kind of vocational job. And most people, you know, you just fall into something. I was like, I need to get out, and I just don't know what I need, or what I'm going to do. And one thing I discovered completely by chance, so I just think there's some kind of you know, things happen at the right time. Absolutely. When they're meant to happen. Yeah. So I actually discovered a podcast, and it was about e-commerce. So there were founder stories, and I got absolutely hooked on it. So I was doing my daily commute on the tube, which is the underground in London, for an hour each way, 2 hours a day. I was just binging this podcast, and I was absolutely in awe of the founders I was listening to. I was like, these people are just so dynamic. They've like everyone really had started it because they were unhappy with something else in their lives, and they just thought, I'll just start this side hustle, and they ended up just like making millions of dollars, pounds, whatever, just like turning their lives around. And I was like, this digital marketing malarkey, which is how they all got into it,
Yeah.
was fascinating. And I was like, oh my God, I need to know about this.
But how
So,
long ago was this? We had that epiphany.
so um, not to give anything away, but I left that role in like 2019 because it was when I was on maternity leave. I was made redundant, and it was at that point I was like, hallelujah, it's time to move on. So I wasn't, it was like honestly a weight lifted when I knew that that time had ended for me in the corporate world.
Yeah.
I'd already found how I was going to retrain. So I was like, I've already found this course, but I can't. I needed that push to actually make sure I did it, because at the time I was employed when I found the course.
Right.
At the time, it was all remote learning, which was a bit like revolutionary because it was pre-COVID, just pre-COVID.
Right.
So I was like, oh, is it going to be a good course? It's all online, but it was the Digital Marketing Institute. So very like respectable institution. And I ended up retraining in digital marketing. So I got my postgrad and I was absolutely hooked. You know, when you just like find your thing, like the
Yeah.
first time in my life, I found something that I started like studying it, and the whole day would have gone. Like the whole day just disappeared because I've been so engrossed in what I was doing. I was like, this is what it means to find a passion. I was like, this is incredible.
I
So
love
when I graduated from there, it was like February or March 2020. So we all know what started then, right?
Yeah.
Pandemic. So I was like, okay, this is at the time, because obviously hindsight's a wonderful thing.
Hmm.
At the time, I was like, right, I'm a woman in her 30s who's the career changer. I'm a new parent as well. There is literally no ad agency in the world that is looking for me at all. They were all firing their staff because they were like, there's a pandemic happening. Everyone's gonna like lose their businesses. And there was a massive knee-jerk reaction, not just in agency land. This was businesses across the world were shutting down because of this like panic. So I was like, oh God, I was like so scared. I was like, I have no job. I'm newly trained. I don't have a portfolio. I have nothing, literally ground zero. I didn't even have a network at that point because I'd come from a totally different industry. So I was like, right, it's time to roll up my sleeves and launch a business and just launch this
Oh.
thing.
Wait, hold on a second. You decided to launch during the pandemic.
Yeah.
You mentioned all those things that no one's looking for you, right? So, wait, what was going through your head to think this was a good time to do it?
I had no choice. I'm literally like, I knew at some point in my life I would have a business. Like, I always had this pull to run a business, but I don't know if it was like my own confidence because I was new to this, or I just thought I need to have, like, this is all in your mind, right? I need to have like this amount of experience, this amount of these clients, this profile before I'm ready. Like, you always think I need to be ready to do this thing. Actually, I
You
learned very
were ready.
quickly. I was ready. It took me like, and I didn't realize at the time what a gift my experience in my corporate role would be in
Right.
starting a business, because I was used to sales, I was used to relationship management, and I'm just really stubborn. So I was like, I believe in myself. I know I'm really good. And
Yeah.
I know, like, I think you need that if you're a business owner, right? You need to know I am a good person and I'm good at what I do, and I'm striving to get results for other people and to help them grow. Because essentially, what I do with ads, I can take a business that is already successful, so it's got a proven product, proven service, it's ticking along well, and I just add rocket fuel to it. So suddenly, there's more leads, there's more sales, and the business grows because the foundations are solid and they're ready. Like I work with brands that are at that point where they're ready to grow. So I rarely work with a brand that's new.
Awesome.
So I never work with businesses that are new, you know, if they haven't got a tested product or service, because there's just so much unknown. You don't know if people actually want your thing. So if your product or service is selling like hotcakes, you can't keep up with demand, you'd usually think, I don't need ads. That's usually how people think, right? They think organically I'm doing fine, I don't need to invest money.
Absolutely. Is that
That
wrong?
Yeah, that's the time to invest because you're like in the moment, people want your thing. So that's when you put more money behind it because then you make even more.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I was in that kind of mindset as well, right? Like you don't do ads until all your organic options have run out,
Yeah.
right? And I think a lot of people think that as well, right? That's not the first thing that you actually do. If you're making money, then why would you need to do ads? But it makes complete sense. Like turbocharge it even more because you know it's working, right?
Let's put the pedal on the gas.
Yeah.
Definitely. So this is like a mindset thing as well. So a lot of business owners, if they've never invested in ads before, they see it as an expense. So they think,
Yeah.
oh, I don't want to spend the money on the ads. It's such an investment. When you do it properly, the ads pay for themselves because you'll be making more than you're spending back. So that's why it's really important to really test organically what you're selling. So do people want your thing, whether it's service, product, without advertising? If it's a yes, you know your numbers, right? You know, right, this is my cost per sale. This is like how much I can afford per lead because I know this is my conversion rate. So if I show this ad to so many people, this many people will sign up to my freebie, for example, then I know that so many people will buy a smaller offer or a bigger, whatever it is that you're leading them to. Once you've done it organically for a while, you know your numbers, so you kind of can predict, okay, so if it's going to cost me, or if I need this many leads to get one high ticket sale, that means I need to spend this much money to get there. So it is all maths and all kind of figuring out what you can afford to spend and what you need to be profitable to get it back.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Now, when you talk about ads, right, are you talking about a particular platform or all ads in general?
So I am talking, well, it does apply to all platforms. My specialism is in meta ads, so Facebook and Instagram, but the same applies.
Right.
The nuance on it
Mhm.
is that each platform behaves a bit differently and they will target people at different points of their buyer journey. I'm doing inverted commas here for anyone who's listening and not watching. So, one thing that I think is really important and isn't really talked about enough is the difference between Google ads, for example, and social media ads. So if you go and Google something because you need, say, I don't know, a new air conditioning unit, or you need to find a local dentist or something, you know what you need. So
Yeah.
that's demand capture. Google is capturing that demand.
Right.
Whereas, maybe I don't know, just a random example. You're on your phone on, Instagram, scrolling along, and suddenly you see the most amazing dress you've ever seen. You're like, oh my God, hold my phone. I need to buy this thing. This is like the most amazing dress I've ever seen. We've all been
Right.
there, right? We've seen a thing on our phones, think, oh my God, I need it. It's
Yes.
not necessarily that you actually need it. It might be that you just like it. But it will be a brand that you've never heard of. It will be from a business you've never heard of. It might even be a thing that you never even knew existed. So that's demand creation.
I
Okay.
love
So you're getting in front of people that don't even know they have a problem. They don't even know that they need that extra dress for their holiday, or, they need another pair of running shoes, or actually, I need a divorce coach. There's all these things that you're going to get shown because the
that.
algorithm is watching. It knows what you like and what you need.
Okay, so talking about algorithms now, right? A lot of people, I'm hearing a lot of chatter, right? Especially around Facebook, saying that no, the algorithms don't work anymore. There's no point in doing Facebook ads, like it's not what it used to be. But you've got a different intake on that, right? Because you're still using Facebook ads.
So this is such a common misconception.
Okay.
So things have massively changed.
Yeah.
Even from 2020, when I first discovered the wonders of Facebook ads. So pre 2021, it was like the Wild West data wise on Meta. And I mean, to a certain extent, that exists online still. But before 2021, Facebook could track you. They could do whatever they wanted, really, until Apple decided, actually, we're going to give our users the choice if they want their data tracked or not. Before then, you could put in really, really detailed targeting in your ads, and you could really be specific about who your ads are being shown to based on interests and demographics. Then 2021 happened with the iOS 14 update.
Mhm.
This was like a storm in the online advertising world.
Uh-oh.
Like businesses collapsed, it was like Armageddon in I mean, it may sound dramatic, but I cannot stress enough what a big difference this made in advertising. And this is where this misconception has come from. At the time when this tracking thing happened, it's not very technical, is it? When this data tracking change happened, because so many people opted out of having their data tracked, suddenly all these interest-based targeting options weren't as effective anymore. Also, at the same time, Meta decided that they wanted to be, I don't know, less discriminatory, which isn't a bad thing. So lots of health options like interests or ailments were removed. Anything that would indicate your sexuality, maybe your ethnic origin, anything like that, all those things were removed. So for certain businesses that relied on those really specific targeting options, suddenly they're like, crikey, I can't actually find my audience anymore. I mean, a less extreme example, I was working with a coaching company that were training up wedding planners, and suddenly wedding planner disappeared as an option to target. And then we're like, why? It's such a benign thing. There's nothing discriminatory. It was a very odd thing. Suddenly lots of options disappeared. However, the flip side of this is, since then, Meta have invested so much of their sort of resources in developing the algorithm. So now, even if you can't target yourself, those interests, the algorithm will find people for you. And the way it does that is it will track your behavior. So maybe you linger on a post longer than something else, maybe you comment, maybe you share, maybe you've been looking at pink trainers on a website, and it knows that. So it will then find advertisers on its platform that are selling pink trainers. Suddenly you're seeing lots of pink trainers in your feed. Or, suddenly, if you're about to get married, suddenly you've got lots of bridal accessories things, or bridal shoes, or wedding dresses, or wedding venues. All these things are suddenly going to appear in your feed.
Yeah.
And it's so clever what it can do, because obviously, once you're married, so you're not interested in weddings anymore, probably. So then it might show you honeymoons. And then maybe you start a family, so it will know when you're pregnant, so it will start showing you baby things.
Oh my God. Why does it know all these things? Is it because we're feeding it the information?
Yeah, so it's a mix. So if you've opted out of having your data tracked, it won't track you off the platform. So, if you go and look at a baby shop, for example, it won't know. But if you suddenly go, okay, I need to join a Facebook group because I need some support from other new mums or other, people. This is obviously just examples. It will apply to any scenario. So you're like, okay, I want to find a local mum group. So you go and join a Facebook group. They know, okay, well, she's joined a mum group and she's female, she's within a certain age group, maybe she's pregnant. Let's test it. Let's see if she starts interacting with the ads. So it will show you ads. So for me personally, I'm a jewelry and handbag aficionado, and all my feed is handbags and jewelry because I'm always clicking on those ads.
Right.
But then I look at my husband's feed and it's completely different. He gets served such different ads to me. So it really is personalized to you. And that is how they make so much money. And that is how, businesses make returns from the ads, because everything is so tailored to your ideal audience.
Oh, I love that. Now, okay, you're starting to really clear this stuff up, right? People keep saying, right now, I don't know if this is true. You probably will know this, right? That even when you're having conversations on the phone, right, that the phone is listening and it can track all of that as well. Is that true?
So I get asked this all the time. So the official line is, we're not being listened to. I personally do not believe it. I don't believe it. Because just to give you an example, I can't remember the exact equivalent of what it is in the US. You'll probably be able to tell me. But Dragon's Den, is it like Shark Tank or something like that in the US?
Yeah, Shark Tank,
Yeah.
yes.
So it's when these entrepreneurs go on the show, and
Yes.
then like these like really wealthy entrepreneurs invest in them or not.
Yeah. Hmm.
So I love watching that show. Whenever I catch it, I'm there. And then literally, as soon as the show ends, like show's ended, I'm served ads by all the businesses that were on the show. How
Stop
would they
it.
know? Yeah, how would they know?
Yeah, because you're watching it on TV, not your phone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it must be listening. Like, I remember having a conversation with one of my American friends about Cadbury's chocolate,
Hmm.
right? And like that, I love Cadbury's chocolate. Is a UK thing. You cannot get away with it. And the next minute, I'm getting ads about Cadbury's chocolate, and I'm like, I'm sure they're listening because that was a phone conversation.
Yeah, it's too much of a coincidence, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even if you just think, and this is completely not based on any facts, okay, this is just my observation, so please don't sue me, Meta. But you know when it's like, even when you're like on WhatsApp, because they own WhatsApp, Meta owns
Yes,
WhatsApp.
that's
And
right.
you're like messaging with your friends about, oh, have you seen this? Or you share something from Instagram or something, like some content to WhatsApp to your friends. Suddenly you're served ads, or if they share something with you, it's like, this is just, it's got to
Yeah.
be that they're tracking it as well.
Oh my, yeah, that is absolutely right. I forgot about that WhatsApp and Facebook. Oh my goodness.
I mean, they are listening because if you say, hey Siri, it suddenly switches on.
Yes.
So I
It
don't know. I'm sure there's loads of conspiracy theories about it, and I'm sure it'll come out one day that they have been listening all along.
definitely. Now, there's something I want to go back to because with talking to you, you've mentioned this several times already, right? And I just want to clear things up for everyone that's listening. You mentioned Meta, right? Facebook and Meta. What
Okay.
is that and what does that mean?
Okay. So I can't remember exactly when it was, but Facebook went through a bit of a rebrand. I think it was actually during the pandemic. I can't be sure exactly of the date. But it's basically the umbrella company for Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. There's Messenger. They also have Oculus, which is like their virtual reality business. And in the ads space, they also have like a little dotted line, something called Audience Network. So that's all the affiliated websites and online spaces where your ads will get shown if you run Facebook ads. So
Oh,
it's a bit of a web of different companies. And I guess because it's just such a vast business, it made sense to have everything collectively called Meta. So you might see, like, for example, shameless plug, I do have a Meta ad starter kit,
mhm.
completely free, but everything I cover in there covers ads across the businesses within Meta, so Facebook and Instagram, and I touch on like Messenger. And it's bad for me to call it that from an SEO perspective because most people just call them Facebook ads,
Yeah.
and there is confusion. What do you mean by Meta ads? So it basically encompasses everything that Facebook owns. Facebook, Instagram, like I said, like lots of businesses.
Oh, that makes much more sense now. Okay. All right. So I'm sure that and others didn't even realize that either. I know I didn't. I was like, what is all of this? Right? The pretty logos look great and everything in the meta, but like no one's actually explaining what does all of this mean? Right? So that is great to know. And so you've already given so many golden nuggets already, right? But with working with a lot of clients and you work internationally, right? Yeah. What's the most common, right, mistakes, pitfalls that people constantly go through when you start to work with them, right? I know the biggest one that you mentioned is that they think that they're not ready to start because they're getting it organically. But when you do start working with them, what's the biggest mistake that people constantly make?
Ooh, that's a big question. So, to be like, if I'm completely honest, a lot of brands start working with me after they've been burnt by working with someone else.
Oh no.
Online
Okay.
world is a little bit murky,
Yeah.
like it's kind of seen as a bit of the dark arts. Some people are maybe not genuine and they set up agencies and they're not necessarily able to deliver what they promise. But I mean, other things are, you know, they're actually not ready. So maybe they don't have a tested product, in which case I'd give advice, but not take them on as a client. Some people aren't prepared to invest the amount in the ad spend that they need to. So this varies by business. So obviously, if you're selling, I don't know, $50,000, £50,000 kitchens, if you're going to only spend, I don't know, £1,000 or dollars a month, it's not really enough to, it needs to be proportionate to what you need to sell. And you also, a lot of people think that people see the ad and they buy straight away. So they'll look in their dashboard and go, why have I not had any sales today? It's like your ads went live a week ago. It's really common for people, especially if you're selling a £50,000 product or service, that they might not buy from you for like a year. So you need to have like a long-term plan for your ad strategy. It's something that's going to be ticking along in the background all the time. Yes, they need to be profitable. So there's a lot of number crunching you need to do, but you also need to be realistic. There are people at the other side of that ad. They're going to see that ad. They're going to be intrigued by your ad. They're probably going to go research you, research your competitors, forget about you, see another ad of yours, remember you, then go and check you out again. The stats change all the time, but something that's always kind of mentioned is there's 27 touch points before someone will buy.
Did you say 27?
Yeah, I mean, they'll check you out on your website, on your social media accounts. They might see, ads a few times. They might get a referral from a friend. They might ask a few people, have you tried this product or service? Have you heard of them? There's a lot of consideration that and especially at the moment, things are a bit iffy in the economy. People are really considering their investments into what they buy, especially if it's a higher ticket item. There's more consideration taken before they invest.
Absolutely. Okay, so when you say, okay, like you just start the ads and it's only been a week, right? I've not seen anything come through. How long should it take before it really kickstarts and brings those leads in?
Okay. So this is actually a really interesting question as well, and it's down a bit to mindset as well. So I work on a minimum 3-month contract with someone, with a brand or company, because there are a few things that will impact how quickly your results come in. You can get sales on day one. It's happening. Like I've launched a client yesterday, we've already got sales. So it can happen straight away. But that's kind of become the expectation, and it isn't always the way. So it can take 2 to 3 months to warm up. And what I mean by that is if you've never run ads before, or maybe you have run ads with another ad partner and it's always been a bit meh, like, you're like, oh, not really seeing what there is going on. There is so much testing that you need to do, not just your creative elements, so your static imagery, video, maybe do carousels, or, there's lots of different formats you can test, but also your messaging. So you have to be so clear on who you're actually speaking to, really getting under the skin of those people. So remember, we're connecting with people through the ads. What are their fears, their hopes, their dreams? What are the issues that they're having? Like, what would make them compelled to click on your ad? Because if you think about how ads look on your phone or your cell, like whatever you call them. So most people will be looking at their cell phone, and they'll be scrolling mindlessly usually. Maybe they're watching telly, they're walking their dog, they're screaming at their kids, whatever it is. Most people are distracted when they're on their phones. It's not something that you sit and intently watch. So your ads need to communicate in a blink of a second what it is you're selling. So it has to be visually striking, so it stops them in their stops the scroll, and then the ad copy needs to compel them. So it's like, oh my goodness, I can relate to this. This is talking to me. Like, oh yeah, I've got thinning hair. What's this? Or, oh yeah, I need to train my puppy. What's this? Something that they can say, that's me. I can see myself in this. I need to know more about this. So it is a bit of a skill to be able to capture someone's attention. And 3 seconds, if you can catch them for 3 seconds, you've actually done well on social media. So it's really quick. You need to be really punchy.
Yeah. Now, is the copy and the marketing something that you help your clients with as well?
Yes. So when we work with brands or companies, We will write all your ad copy, we do all your competitor research, we build all your campaigns and manage them for you. The one thing we don't do in-house, but we partner with, is creative agencies. And this is actually something that a lot of businesses underestimate. Like, they never put budget aside for the actual creation of the ads.
What do you
It doesn't
mean
have to
by
be a lot
that?
either. So you need to pay a designer, like
Oh,
someone to actually create the ads.
oh, okay.
So, they also, it doesn't have to be expensive either, but it's just part of the cost of running your ads. And also, the more money you're spending every month, the quicker your ads need to be switched out because they fatigue. You need to
Oh,
keep things fresh. So, as with anything, whether you're scaling a business, you're scaling your ad campaigns, the more money you make, the more you spend, the more the costs are. So you need to factor this in as your ad spend increases, that you need more ad creatives. Your agency management fees will probably increase as well. So just always checking in about your profitability as well.
wait, so are you saying you can't just go into Canva and create a post?
You can. I mean, lots of businesses do it. So a lot of them will have in-house teams, or they'll
Okay.
do it themselves. The only thing is, it can be quite challenging for someone who hasn't run ads before to
Yeah.
really understand what the ads need to look like.
Ah,
So we do create briefs, creative briefs, and we use software that pulls in examples of ads that are live. So we can say this format will look amazing for your business. So swap this out, change this color, change the text overlay. But we like the concept of that the geometric shape in the background, or you need to have these subtitles like this when you're talking in your ad, or
oh,
look at the lighting here. You need to replicate this lighting when you're shooting your own video content,
I
because a lot of it
see.
is like I mean, natural looking content, authentic content usually does really well on social media, because people don't realize they're being sold to. They just get nosy and then they start watching your ad and they're like, oh yeah, I need that thing.
Okay. Oh no, that's a very good point, right? So when you're actually working with a team that knows exactly what ads work, what type of ads work, and what kind of tweaks and changes you can make to get it even better and boost it, it makes a big difference, right? Rather than you just trying to figure out, oh, let me just use this template on Canva and see if that works. But when you're putting ads in, you don't want to just see, oh, let's just see what works, right? You want to get advice by people that do this on a daily basis, and make sure that it works to its best, right?
Yeah, and also you want people that have always got an idea up their sleeve, because a
Mm.
lot of brands kind of run out of ideas because they're in the thick of it. They're always in, like, looking at their own content, always, I don't know, you just think you can't see the unique elements of your business, or you
Right.
kind of get blind to them. So when you have someone external come in, it's like, wow, this is amazing. Like, why aren't you talking more about this? And have you looked at this? And have you noticed your competitors, like, being slated because they're really bad at this, but you're brilliant at this, so you need to be talking
Right.
about this more. And then everyone's like, oh my God, light bulbs, brilliant ideas. We need to put this in the ads. So sometimes it's just a case of having fresh eyes on your business so people can pick out what will work in the
Yeah.
ads.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Now, I know at this point, Aggie, people are thinking, oh my goodness, right? Like, I need to work with Aggie. I need to find out more about this. So, where can they go to connect with you?
So I'm usually on LinkedIn, so you can find me at Aggie Meroni, or Instagram, White Bee Digital. And if you've never run ads before and you're thinking, I just need to have a little sense of what's going on, I have a free Meta Ads starter kit. So I'll share the link with Kay for that as well, so you can download that.
Awesome. Guys, all links will be in the show notes. So make sure you scroll down, get hold of Aggie, go through that freebie, right? Because that's going to be the first step for you to really understand what this is all about, and connect with her. Go on her socials, connect with her, follow her, because you're going to be learning so much more and you're not going to regret it. I promise you. Aggie, thank you so much for coming onto the show. So many golden nuggets in such a short amount of time. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening to Make Your Mark podcast at www.makeyourmarkpodcast.com. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get this and every other episode that comes out. We have lots of great stuff coming, so make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss it. And thank you in advance for all the reviews and comments. I appreciate it so much. and I look forward to serving you in next week's episode.